Alright. Welcome back to She Professed Herself as Disciple of the Wise Man. Anime Review, episode number 4. We're going to talk about the last 6 episodes of the season. And basically, well, the thing with the last episode is it left it wide open for season 2. But so far, I haven't seen one yet. I'll talk about that. So, basically, here's kind of what happens. Well, one of the biggest things happens in episode 6, where Mara reveals to her fairy that she works with that she is, in fact, basically her former master. Darapal. Yep. Yeah, that was basically the big thing that happened in episode 8. Yeah, I knew about this in the manga, and they actually revealed this by renewing the fairy contract. Yep, that was simply what happened. Yeah, there's also a thing in these episodes of, like, you have Mari going to a school where she's not there as a student. She just shows up the fact, that summoning is awesome. And the fact the guy who is, like, number 1 is a complete jerk. Yeah, he guys come up, it's really easily, like the fact he lost. And then basically have Maria take on one of her assistants, this being Klaus, which of course ended in a draw. Yeah, that was kind of the thing that happened in episodes 7 and 8. Also, the fact that Mariana basically shared a bath with Maria, including sharing a bed. This also was the first time since episode 1 that Maria has been seen butt naked. Of course, we'll see this in the very next episode. Yep. So, basically, in a way, kind of what happens is like, yeah, we go to the Child Predator Force, which we mentioned the last couple episodes, where she helps out basically afford to attack by monsters, takes them out, and then decides to go swimming by going butt naked for reasons. Yeah, it's just like, really? Yeah. So, yeah, swims on a slide, butt naked, and there's a guy just happens to come up to her, but at a distance, and I'm like, Maria apparently has no shame with the fact that she is completely naked standing in front of a fully grown man. Yeah, she doesn't give a damn because previously she was a guy. I would have thought, though, that as a girl that she would feel a little embarrassed. Nope. Yeah. So, and then of course the guy who decided to see her butt naked, she decided to fight later on when she attacked a spirit. Which, of course, basically, that they take the guy out pretty easily. Ace hauled off, and then someone basically is informed later on about all this stuff happening. Also, they mention about one of the wise men who's about naming stuff. Her name is Kagra. Yep, Kagra. Which, they do not have an English dub actress for her because she has not been in the show. Sadly. Yep, and then of course basically, let me see here. Okay, also there was this guy in a fort in episode 10. Yeah, he was voiced by Dallas Reed, Asta, and apparently he's an actual player. Yep, he was a player who was trapped in the game. Now I'm hearing like, wait. A character who's a player and he's trapped in the game, can't get out. Sounds a lot like Sword Art Online. I will eventually watch that, don't worry about that. Because I've had some interest for the past several years. I've had other stuff come up, so I may get to in the future, but probably not this year, maybe next year. And he's a craftsman. And he only appears in episode 10. And then, like, the very next episode, we have her summon two people in episode 11. Well, actually, we have a character named White Hood, voiced by Darren Matra. a guy named Nolan, and a woman named Eleanor, who's played by Morgan Garrett, but also Omiko, the short, adorable little girl, voiced by Sarah Winehoff. You're like, really? Sarah Winehoff is in the show? Yes. By the way, this makes the 47th series I've heard of now in. And she's in the next episode. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's because also basically there's a full-blown monster attack in the next episode, which also involves the sky cracking for reasons that's not really explained here. The sky just opens up, bunch of monsters, and of course, Luminaria, who's been absent since episode 6 at this point. She's absent the last few episodes. She spent the entire day off, and she called in our day off. Trust me, I've had that happen to me by myself. And, well, then she proceeds to eliminate a lot of monsters, and then basically complains, I need a bath. Because of course she does. By the way, she's all shopping for clothes. At least she's acting like a girl, despite the fact this Bridget was a guy. Yes, seriously. So then Maria gets a chance to participate in this whole thing. Hails a couple of areas. And then a behemoth shows up in the final episode, cracking the sky. And this was just after, the battle was over. Solomon proceeds to go thank them. And that's when the sky opens up. This behemoth dragon shows up. And it takes a whole humongous army to eliminate this damn thing. And then afterwards, basically, people participate receive credit for this. But not Maria, because she wants to be in hiding. For reasons, per se. Yeah. Be in hiding. So, then later on, she goes on a train to find the missing wise man. Find out why stuff is happening the way it is. Yeah, if you watch, the last, minutes of the last episode, it's a lot of setup for season 2. It's like, we left it wide open, all this lines of dialogue. Finding the wise man. Why are creatures appearing in areas not supposed to? All this other stuff. Now, I am not going to blame Crunchyroll for not basically for this. I blame Studio Cat for not realizing, though, that they basically left the final episode wide open for season 2. It's been 3 years. Haven't heard anything per se. Would I be surprised if we had a season 2? I would not be surprised. I read a lot of the manga already, so there's plenty of material to adapt from, so there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that's pretty much the last 6 episodes, basically the second half of season 1 in its nutshell. So, final thoughts on season 1 of She Professed as a Wise Man. Quite interesting show per se. I've never heard of a show basically where a guy who's originally a guy and then is basically what they do is where it's in a game becomes a girl. Though not the first one I come across where you have a guy who's later transformed into a girl. This also happened Reborn Master Blade. But in the case of that one, the character is a closet lesbian where she's basically only interested in women. This affects, I'm sure that she probably gets a lot of guys interested in her, but she's not interested at all. She's only interested in women. Mine, on the other hand, is completely different. There's no hint of... The only person she may be interested in, maybe romantically, is Maria. Aside from her, there's nobody else. Luminous? No. They're just basically friends. There's no interest romantically between the two of them at all. Probably because they both used to be guys. Yeah. But as for any guys interested in her... Well, if you watch the show, no guy's interested because all they see her is basically that when they look at her, she looks like a child. And they probably know that's no-no. Despite the fact she looks like she's probably in late teens, I'd say. Because I've seen one girl in one show where she's that size, and that being saving 8,000 gold in the world from retirement. Yes. Now, in the case of Felicia Argyle, who is the voice actress for Maria, this is the first time I can think of she's ever did a lead character, the main character of a show that I can think of, because mostly she's been supporting characters. You probably think a show my smartphone, was she the main character? Was she the female lead in that one? It was not exactly very clear. I would probably put it on the twins because they practically were in all the episodes. So I don't know if we can clarify the fact if she was the female lead or not. This might like she was trying to force a lot of the plot throughout the later half of the first season and a little bit of season 2. Yep. But not much else to say about this. Oh, just by sheer coincidence that Michelle Rodgers and Felicia Argyle are the only two people in the show. Well, along with Josh Grout, he's in the show too, voicing a cat. These three are the only ones I can think of who were actually also, almost Sarah Weinhoff, obviously. These four are the ones, because she was the one I remember, who actually were in No More Smartphone, which just came a few years after No More Smartphone. This probably is the only show I can think of these voice actors are in. Now, as for the expansion of what anime do next, after we go through Hero Class, it will be Let This Grieving Soul Retire. Yep, that one is next. I'll talk about that soon. But next up is, well, actually I'm going to do comic history because stuff I missed from the last video yesterday, and then I'll do Hero Class. Okay, thanks, Phil. Bye.